Welcome to Making Complex Problems Simple, AI for Everyone. I wanted to introduce our speaker, Kanchana Patlolla. Kanchana is a customer engineer at Google Cloud Platforms. She has architected solutions with major public cloud providers in financial service industries on their request to cloud, particularly in their big data and machine learning journeys. In her spare time, she loves to try different cuisines and relax with her kids. Thank you, and welcome, Kanchana.
Hi, nice to see everyone. Thank you for joining. I know after lunch sessions are always, the hardest to do, but thank you for your interest. I appreciate it. If folks have like a phone in your hand, if you could scan the screen, the barcode, there are just 3 questions, 2 option buttons, and then 1 short answer. If you could fill it, that would give me an understanding of what the audience is looking to learn from the session. And if you to see my screen, you need to double click it so that it becomes bigger. That's what it said in my help video. I have, as of now, 5 answers. First off, I would like to start thanking the GDG organizers. This has been an excellent coordination. The organization which is involved, the folks who have been involved are really helpful. And there was, if you look at the sessions, there was a diverse set of speakers with diverse set of subjects. So kudos and hats off to them for pulling this together during the COVID times. It's definitely appreciated. And me, as Chris just mentioned, I am a customer engineer with Google. And I help customers, mostly enterprise customers, develop their journey towards Google Cloud, particularly. But I have experience with other major cloud providers as well. And I can speak a little bit of that language, but not a lot. So I do see about 5 answers in the form. Let's just start there because we have to wrap it up by 2:30 so that I can answer any questions you might have. So most of you look like are from a developer, database engineer, business analyst background. And have you heard of machine learning? 6 responses, yes, for now. And the short answers have all been good. If you would like to see the answers, some of them, which has come across. So this is a good place to be because my topic today is going to be focused on developers, data engineers, and business analysts, not necessarily the data scientists. So if there is any data scientist out there, you probably might get some view of what's going on in the democratization space, but not necessarily helpful for you. So, and I see excited and afraid. That's a valid point, and we'll talk about it a little bit. And there is also a couple of sessions which particularly cover about the ethics implications which comes with machine learning. So let's start. It's 2:04. We'll wrap it up by 2:30. Let me just go to the present mode. So we are going to start the session with understanding first what is machine learning and why the interest now. I'm going to just rush through this topic because most of us know, but I'm just trying to level set. So that's going to be rushing through. Democratization of AI is where I'm going to focus a lot of time. And then I will do some demos so that you get an idea of what it is. And I'll give you some takeaways so that you go with a goodie bag of things you could do right away to get accustomed to it. And there is my email if you want to reach me anytime with my Twitter and LinkedIn handles. So let's start. You answer the polling questions. If you haven't, it's okay. When you get a time, please feel free to answer it. What is machine learning? Machine learning is like, as you could see, it's just a branch of the whole artificial intelligence space. So, but we would be covering many or some of it in this topic, but AI for everyone is where like this world is moving towards. So before we can apply it, first, what is machine learning is where the question is, right? Using the data to answer questions. And how do you do that? So what we do, like if you are building your machine learning model, you would send your input to something, a black box model, and then it provides an output. For example, a cat sent to a model would be a cat. It's not magic. The central part is not magic. It could be anything. So the screens you see here, as you could see, there are some Chihuahua dogs and there are some muffins. There are some kittens and there are some ice creams. So imagine a machine learning model being able to detect both, like whether it's a kitten or an ice cream, it still should be able to detect it. And that's where we need to be able to create a model which is unique and perfect. So as you could see, the dog here, and this is a mop machine learning model, it should be easy. Whereas in this case, it's a little bit harder to figure out which is a dog and which is a mop, right? So machine learning is a harder problem to solve. And that's where we try to, like, this shows how hard it is. So in this case, in a laundry basket, there is a cat or a dog. It's not sure yet. It's there. And a machine learning model needs to be able to recognize if it's a cat or a dog. And in this instance, that, like, first we start with the outer layer and we go like in depth to figure out if that's possible or not. And there are a couple of ways we do it. This is not necessarily today's topic, but the way it's done is figuring out what the input is, what a weight is, and what a bias is to create a prediction. There are several articles written over how a bias is determined, how an input is determined, how are weights determined. But there are some examples where it showcases, and honestly, this is the only one where you would see a math equation. But this is machine learning. It's complex. It has a lot of things you need to take care of before you can have a good model. So now, why is all the interest now in AI and ML, right? Mostly because there's access to large number of data sets because everyone is churning out a lot of data, and the access to large scale computers, but because of the exposure to cloud and the powerful tools and frameworks which are available today makes it easier. And machine learning is made for cloud. So that's why it is made for cloud. So today's topic, like, is why the enterprises are moving towards AI. As you could see, there are about 100 million business users, but the deep learning researchers are about 10K, 20K. There are about 2 million ML experts, but there are 23 million developers, as you could see in the chart. So there is a need for democratizing these models for all of us to be able to use it. And how the enterprises can use it. And this is like one of our, like you could say, as Google's products which are available in the market, which all have machine learning embedded in it. As you use YouTube, you could see a video recommendation. That's a machine learning. As you use search, the search ranking. As you do your Gmail, a smart reply. So everything is embedded. How do we help the customers? So there is a whole lot of things here. We are not going to be covering the custom models part. That's not today's discussion. Today's discussion is going to be in the first two topics, the ML APIs and the AutoML, which is focused on the application developers, the database engineers, and the business analysts being able to do it. BQML, there is a separate topic, I think, at this point of time, which is running. But if you are interested, there is a lot of YouTube videos which showcases how you would be able to create it. But our focus is going to be in the APIs and the AutoML. So depending on your level of ML expertise, this is a horizontal view of how the cloud AI is built, the builder tools are built. The APIs and the AutoML is when you have low to medium expertise towards ML. And we talked, like, AutoML is some of buzzword. I don't know how many of you have heard it. What it does is you bring your data, you just give it to a black box, which you would be able to train, deploy, and serve. And what it does is you create an API so the customers or your applications can start using that. I'll be giving you a demo shortly where you could see how that's very helpful. So there's a lot of building blocks in AI. There's vision, there is translation, natural language, to build bots, chat bots, you have dialogue flow, a lot of things here in this. I am going to be focusing just on the vision so that you could see how it is done. But then if you want to hear most of it, I'll give you a takeaway where you could see all of these APIs and how you can access it. So our first focus is Vision API. We are going to get insight of the images just with an API call. I hope all of you know how to make an API call. If not, we have a cloud lab or a demo where you could build it yourself and try it so that you can build it. It's used in a lot of industries today. I have a lot of, like for Vision API, it's used in, say, New York Times. They used archived photos out of like 100 years pictures, and then they created stories out of it. Like companies use them every day. There is one company, as you could see here, there's a lot of things that you could do with Vision, identifying faces, labels. Again, we don't identify a person. It's more like a face. Labels, OCR, the landmark. If you're used to Google Lens, I don't know how many of you have used Google Lens. It is able to recognize pretty clearly, and that's because of Vision API. And if you have used Nordstrom or IKEA, if you have gone and like they have an app where you could do a product search and brings the product, it's based on Vision API. Those are built using Vision API. Yeah, exactly. This picture is actually like IKEA, Nordstrom, all have this feature where they are able to find what that picture is, and they're able to recognize what kind of shoes it is. And if you have a Pixel phone, Google Lens has it. I don't know if it's there in other Android things. So I'm going to show a quick demo to showcase how you could build this yourself. So I have a picture, like, so in my, so if you want to use this, it's cloud.google.com/vision. And I'm going to try the API. What I have is, I have a leaf. Sorry. I have a leaf, and I'm going to see how this leaf is identified with an API. So this is a very simple example, right? It identified that it's a leaf. It's 98% confident that it's a leaf. And it could be a tree. I think this is being recognized as a tree. And it's saying it could be a canoa bush. Like that's, like, it's not confident. It's 52% confidence. And then if you want, there are several other factors you could determine from a picture. In this picture, it determined this. It's safe that doesn't have an adult spoof, medical, like any kind of content. So this was really helpful. So this is just basic Vision API. And there is a lot of things you could do in the basic itself. Particularly, it works very well if there is a product, if there is something which is, a car, a model, logos, landmarks, all of those. I picked leaf for a reason, which I'll get to it in a minute. But if there is a landmark, if there is logos, if there is like a car, and you want to recognize which part this is. So it could be anything. Vision API mostly covers it. How would you access it? It's just an API call. You could use it using your Python, Java, whatever you are comfortable with. And I will give you a link where you could try to test it out. So this is Vision API, and it's just, sorry, I just pressed the share button. So this is Vision API, but the Vision API is also, like, there could be multiple things. It could be natural language, it could be translate, it could be anything. The next phase of it is the AutoML, which is you bring the pictures, data in this case, and then you upload the label and images, and we train the model for you. You evaluate it and serve it for your customers. There are some examples where you could see, like in this one, there is a dentist invoice and it's easily able to detect it. Here, they're able to determine the parts, the objects. It could be anything specific you want to get out of this. I'll show you a demo where you would be able to easily signify. So we are at 216. So the reason I did leaves was this because of this. So this is AutoML. In this instance, what we do is you have a set of pictures, say 100 pictures, and then you have the tags for it because you need to tag each of those images. So I'm going to show. So what we have is about 916 pictures. Mostly they suggest about 1,000, but not, like if you have 100, you could try it out and see what happens. And each of these leaves are from separate categories. So all of them were tagged, like, or labeled. You don't have to label it in the system. All you could do is you could create a spreadsheet with the image location and then the label of that image. So there are about 92 this category, like I'm never going to be able to pronounce that. So there is a lot of categories which we are signifying. And then what we do is, like, so you uploaded the images, you just gave the labels, and then what we do is train a new model. That's it. All I would do is click this, and then it asks me two questions. Should it be cloud, or are you going to download this and use it in a mobile application? Depending on where you want to do. Right now, I'm going to be cloud. And then you could specify the time you want to take, like number of servers to use to train the model. The recommendation they gave for this one is 16 hours because it's less than 1,000 image count. And then all you would do is start training, and that's about it. So you're not doing anything other than finding the images, labeling the images, uploading the images. Once you start training, after that's done, it takes quite a while. So it takes about, like for me, I think it took about 2 hours. And then it's done. So the next step, you could evaluate. You don't need to be a data scientist to evaluate this. Let me just zoom this a little bit so that you could see clearly. Sorry about that. Okay. I hope you can see it clearly now. So as you could see here, it has a lot of information, which is good for us to know. But this confusion matrix is what I would consider easy to determine. What it says is 100% of the time, it's confident that it can determine Acer, like this kind of a leaf. Whereas it's confused in this category, Prunus sargenti, sometimes with Prunus virginia. So because the reason is maybe it looks similar, so it has that confusion. So whenever you see a response for that kind of leaf, you would have experienced some problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same leaf I tested with the Vision API, which we saw before. And let's see what happens. So it figured out the leaves category. This picture was not in our first this images list. Like it wasn't. We had 1,000 pictures which are not relevant to that. And then when we tested it, we just gave the upload of the picture. So this is done real time. You could do this real time or batch to send the things. And it's 76% confident in this instance that this is Juglans scenario. As you could see, you can use that with a REST API or a Python client. It gives you an instructions or how to do it. So that's what makes it different. So there was this API where we just gave the leaf and it identified that it's a leaf, which is a big deal. Again, we know that it's hard to determine a dog and a mop. So in this instance, it was able to recognize that it's a leaf. And then if we want to identify a certain kind of leaf, what we are doing is we are using AutoML to figure out what kind of leaf that is. So that level of information might or might not be there, like depending on the level of expertise in that particular topic. So I hope you all understand the difference between APIs and AutoML. So the next thing, I am going to go over some of the other things which are available, which you could try it. There is video intelligence, and video intelligence is a common thing, which you can see to identify if there is like an object tracking, if there is a label, if there needs to be a video segmentation, text detection from a video, everything. You could do it out of the box just with an API call. And the AutoML would be a different set of the same thing. There is one of my colleagues who had created an awesome video of all of her personal video collections using AutoML. She did a Father's Day gift for her father. If you want to look for it, you can look for Dale AI video intelligence, something like that. It's in YouTube, and you should be able to find it. Dale, D-A-L-E. And it's a good video which showcases this. And then the cloud translation natural language. You could go and see it yourself, but it has, so the natural language it's able to capture it and identify. If you use DocuSign today, if you have used recently, earlier it used to be a manual process, manual tags, and they were identifying. Whereas with natural language API, DocuSign was able to implement it, and you don't have to figure things out. It figures it out by itself. And we have a version of AutoML for that too. As you could see, you upload the text and the information, and it clearly recognizes. Translate, I don't know how many of you have used the Translate API app. I travel a lot, so when I do, I'm able to use it to figure out based on the languages in the countries. Bloomberg actually uses it to condense the news from across the world, just news, data, analytics, 40 languages across 170 countries, just with this API, and they're able to create an outcome. AutoML version of it, you could create your custom models to do it. And the dialog flow, if you haven't heard of it, how it's very easy to create a chatbot. I do that all the time, and I play pranks with my kids. I would definitely suggest you look at it. This is about the recommendation engine. I want to be cognizant of the time. Let me just go to yeah, I think I can do a 2-minute thing of the recommendation AI. This is something which is quite coming up popular. I don't know if you're I'm sure every one of you have used customer who have viewed this. I've also, or customer who bought this, I've also brought this. Customers who have watched this video have watched this, or customer who have done this. We have done this a lot of times, like as you could see, and YouTube recommender is basically that, right? Like you're able to figure out what you could do. So we built something called recommendation AI. I know we don't have a cool picture, but it has this. What it does is you have a catalog of information, as you could see this left side, and then you have the customer information, which is below, based on your click information, like the URL, etc. And all of it is being brought together, identify what that recommendation type is, and then click the objective and create an API for yourself. This is getting popular with retailers. This is the one which Nordstorm uses for customers who bought this, and like there are several other customers who use this today. It's a beta product, but it's available. If you are interested, I would suggest you go and look at some of the videos which are available. Again, I know I have to wrap things up quick, and I know I ran through the topics. Feel free to reach out to me. But if you want to try it out by yourself, I do have the developers, the link here. And if you go to that link and type Vision API or video intelligence or natural language, whatever you want to, there are small labs. It shouldn't take more than 15-20 minutes to run through, but it will give you a good idea of how to work through that. I have 4 minutes, but then I can start answering questions, or I can do some demos. Oh, can you slow down, please? I apologize because I was trying to get through the topic. I can answer questions if you have, or I can go to do some demos for you to see it, and then you could do it. Demos are always good. Okay, that's good. Okay, looks like demos seems to be a hot topic. I'm going to do this. Let me see if I have the right link. Maybe not. Oh, yeah. So this is a natural language API demo. You could do this again by yourself. It doesn't have to be. They have some context here. And then it's about an event which happened. And Sundar Pichai said about the keynote and how users love this Android phones, etc. Let's click analyze and see what the API does. So in this instance, it recognizes the organization, it recognizes the consumer goods, the address, and what kind of personas are in that discussion. And if there is a location, it is able to recognize. So, and also the price. So just by giving 4 lines or 3 lines of data, it's able to recognize. Let's see what that sentiment it has recognized. So it gave an overall score of 0.5, which is good. And then syntax wise, it recognizes the categories involved. And it's most likely, it's 59% confident that's an internet telecom kind of discussion, because I think it went with the phones and it kind of said. So this is a quite good demo. It just says what it means. And I have one, I don't, let me just see if we have time, I can show in, this is one which I like very much. And you could do this, create this by yourself. This is a Ford patent, the US patents available. All of that. This is an AutoML screen, by the way. This has been, all the patents have been uploaded, and they have been labeled against European Union and United States. So what they did was we trained that model, and the next time you use it, it will easily recognize if it's a EU model or a US model. This was basically a natural language. Let me just, so if you haven't seen the Google Cloud Console screen, this actually gives you a good level of, I should probably just do a search here. So I am in the natural language, and let me see if I can find the entity extraction. So I have the same patent demo. And in this one, so these are the patents, and someone has manually tagged the applicant line, what are the information which are there. Let me just pick one, and then we can see how it's done. So this is a European patent. And what is this? This is a number. This is probably the patent number. And this is the class of that particular document. And it gives a whole lot. If you want to see the publication date of that, it goes to that particular, particular date. So once you do this, what happens is the next time a document comes, you don't have to do this separately. It's already done and taken care of, and it'll be you will be able to do this. And if it's an invoice, it's easier. You don't have to even do this. It's automatically taken care of. Let me see if I have maybe here, document AI. So as you could see, if there is a form, it is able to easily recognize and do it. I am just going to do this one thing and see if there is any question. So I think I have maybe an invoice. Oh, there's an invoice. Let's see what happens. Maybe this is my personal one. This is my personal one. But let's try the sample which is there. This should be an invoice. And as you could see, this is an invoice with certain details, but it's able to recognize that the due date was this, and this was the price which was there, and these are the supplier information, address, everything is automatically detected. So imagine your customer having or your organization has a lot of documents. This is very helpful for you to get that documents, run it through at a stretch, and someone is not manually tagging or creating an index so that it's used at a later point of time. So it's very helpful. Yes, yeah. There was just a minute. This one is not an actual invoice. This was a dummy one. So this was not, this was just available and they have used it. This is not an actual invoice. So do you have any questions, or I can keep going on my demos?
No one has any questions?
Wow. Either
I have two for you.
It was very clear, or it was like nothing was understandable.
It looks like they want some more demos. If we still have time at the end, I have two more personal questions for you.
Oh, sure.
So the first one I wanted to ask you is, how did you get into AI?
Oh, yeah. If you look at my profile, like I come from a data background, mostly with databases. I started with IMSDB. I know I'm dating myself, but I started there. But then slowly moved to, the recent technologies, IBM, IMSDB, DB2, Teradata, and now with BigQuery. So that is my background. But then everyone, after having data, the next step right now is figuring out what insights I can get out of it, what kind of predictions I can do. So that's when I moved towards machine learning. But my current options, like my space is in the democratization piece of it. I'm not a deep learning nerd by any means. I know how to navigate some questions. That's about it. But this space of APIs and AutoML is the space which I kind of try to work through. That's where my focus has been. How did I get into it? Mostly just by educating myself, looking at it, training, running through some code. And this is not, like, as you could see, this is not a big deal. As long as you have the data, pretty much easier.
Like, we have two questions in the chat. Is it fair to do a comparison between T-Extract? I'm not sure if that's a spelling mistake.
Yeah, Textract. It's an AWS product. Yeah. and the NLP used here. Yes, yeah. So these are, of course, competing products. As you could see, there is like every cloud provider has their own suite of things available, and like all of them are comparable. Like they do pretty much well in the benchmarking. I would say this though. There are only 11 1 billion user products in the world. Two of them are Facebook and Instagram. The rest of the 9 belong to Google. So the machine learning models which have been used to build those products, which are used by billions of users in the world, have been created just with us. So you could, compare, contrast, benchmark. There is a lot available. uh, and the suite of products almost look the same too. So if you have used a Textract API, it's probably the same as like OCR, detection here. But that's where I think we differ, and we try to make things easier and also just perform and better. And the features a little bit vary if you go deep into it.
Cool. Looks like Stan asked a question. How is Recommender better than the other options?
Yeah, there are options available. And say if you are, use a Keras kind of, I don't know if you're aware of Keras, there is some recommender options available there as well. But the one which we try to do here makes things a little bit more simpler. Because it's what we are trying to achieve. I know I didn't show a screen. Instead, I went with this weird or way of how it works. But what we try to do is drag and drop and able to create it by yourself, like the AutoML demo I showed. So imagine recommend you being able to create a recommendation by yourself, just dragging and dropping just an API. That's the way the AI or democratization AI is going towards. So that I don't know of a comparable product which gives that feel of bringing all this together in a couple of screens. There are some options, but you do need to have some kind of TensorFlow scikit learning to be able to do it. If there is any, I would love to hear so that we can compare. As of now, I haven't seen any.
Any more questions? While we wait, I had one more for you.
Sure.
There's a lot of potential with AI in the future. What do you think is the most exciting thing that's going to be coming with AI?
Exciting thing which is going to come with AI. I think it is this people, like my focus is this, not big. So this one, right? We have that 23 million developers, or data engineers, business analysts, the 23 million resources who are available, who have the knowledge, and being able to enable them to create the next best products. Every company these days want to be an AI company. Like they all, like if you look at any CEO's letters which comes today, they all want to be that, the next thing, what we can do, what are the things which can happen with AI in any vertical, in any kind of technology today. And to happen is not going to happen with this 2 million ML experts. Or else I have seen organizations where they have like 50 data scientists, and those are the folks who are involved in creating the AI. But that's not going to be helpful. The thing is, when you democratize it and you're able to expand it for the mass to use, that's when the companies are going to see. So we are going to see a lot of innovative things which are going to come across in every industry. And that is going to be one, like in today's world, if you think about AI, it's probably the technology companies or cloud-based companies, cloud native companies who are able to adopt it. But the future tomorrow would be like every vertical is going to be an AI. That's the exciting part, I feel.
Great. Looks like we have a new one. They're new to AI. Is there some place Google or otherwise I can go to understand the AI and its ecosystem?
Sure. Like with any, I normally what I do is I just watch YouTube for the conferences which comes across. Like every cloud provider has their own conference. Like Google has Next, which has excellent, content, and there is AWS reInvent, and then there is Microsoft Ignite. Almost all of these cloud providers publish the YouTube playlist where you could get in depth about one specific thing. If you are solving that problem, like solving a problem, if you're interested in a vision or a data or like any kind of, depending on that, I would then go into that particular thing and explore the options available and get myself used to it. Is there a place, some place in Google or otherwise I can go to? Yes, in Google, if you go in there and search, you would be able to just to understand the AI and its ecosystem. I would suggest even a Coursera. There are some courses in Coursera. I would suggest start there. And but if you want to go deep into TensorFlow machine learning stuff, I would suggest follow Andrew Ng. He's a great author. He has a Coursera course, and he's like I just follow him to get most of my updates. So that would be one. And Jeff Dean. He is Google Brain's head of Google Brain. I would follow him. There's a lot which comes out of that group. And our DevRels do a great job. Most of our DevRels have a great job. Sarah Robinson in Google, she does a great job. Dale Markowitz, she is really good. Mark Cohen, he's really good. These are the folks I would follow to just be up to date. And I also have, Chris had posted the link of the Code Labs. You could just get hands-on experience with that. I hope that was helpful.
Thank you. Okay, another one from Dino. How does machine learning work? Well, that's a big one.
How does machine learning work? This is what machine learning is. It's just a matrix multiplication, like figuring out whether it's video, audio, a PDF document, an email, anything. It's just figuring out some kind of inputs, which are features, they call it, and then identifying what is the weight they should give for each of those features, and then adding some bias to it. So that you get good prediction. Like there is one, like here, I don't know if you could follow. They are trying to predict the temperature based on the number of crickets, chirps, which comes in a minute. So depending on the number of chirps, the temperature of that place goes higher. And this is just a basic math they have said. Like if the number of chirps per minute is multiplied by the slope of that, curve line, plus adding where that intercept starts, is the temperature. But I know this is a little bit of math, but that's a loaded question to answer. Okay, I rattled a lot. Yeah, I think, was that answer satisfactory?
I think so. Yeah, I was going to say that someone asked for all the names. I was hoping you would be able to write them down. I only caught a few of them.
Yeah. I know I did. Sorry about that. Mark and Jeff Dean and Andrew NG. I think these are the names I suggested. But once you start following, right, you see a retweet and then follow that person. That's how it goes. But I keep up to date just based on these, following the people and then trying to get some information. Yeah.
Okay, looks like we have about a minute left. If there's no other questions, I want to thank you very much. This was a very awesome speech.
Thank you.
I learned a lot, and I'm excited to do some AI stuff.
Thank you. Good luck. Reach out to me anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.